on the corner of 25 West Main Street in downtown Vermilion. The spot, Winnie Mae's, is proud to support programming on Coyote News. The spot, Winnie Mae's, providing salon and spa services for men, women, and children.
Coming up on Coyote News, we'll tell you how locals are taking a stand on a global issue.
Plus, a new organization has joined the list of USD's nearly 200 student groups. Coyote News starts right now.
Live from the Al Newharth Media Center, this is Coyote News.
Hello, thanks for joining us. I'm Lauren Solik.
And I'm Devin Martin. We'll get to those stories and more, but first, 7 local businesses that hold alcohol licenses failed compliance checks with Vermilion Police last Thursday.
Underage confidential informants attempted to purchase alcohol at 10 locations in town. Bunyan's, Main Street Pub, and Cherry Pit Stop all passed the compliance check. The 7 businesses that failed were both Casey's General Store locations, Coyote Convenience, Dakota Brick House, Eagles, Freedom Store, and Leo's Lounge. Each of the employees who sold alcohol were charged with furnishing alcohol to a minor. Vermilion Police Chief Matt Betson says this is one of the worst years for compliance checks since 2012. USD student Danny Rambo Jr. pleaded guilty to a Class 1 misdemeanor for sexual contact without consent with a person incapable of consenting. Rambo was originally charged with 1 count of second-degree rape. He will serve 10 days in jail starting in November. Rambo will also have to pay a $2,400 fine. He's not allowed to visit bars, possess alcohol, marijuana, or other controlled drugs. His social media accounts are also being monitored by a counselor. Louisiana's Attorney General ruled out criminal charges yesterday against 2 Baton Rouge police officers in the 2016 shooting death of 37-year-old Alton Sterling. One of the officers shot and killed Sterling during an altercation outside of a convenience store where Sterling was selling homemade CDs. 2 cell phone videos of the shooting spread on social media promoting large protests. So Carter, can I finally put my winter coat away?
I definitely think so. From now on, we're looking at a lot warmer weather. Right now, it's 57 degrees. The spring-like temperatures have finally arrived. Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a low around 28. Tomorrow, it'll be partly sunny with the temperature getting up to 45. Thursday night, we'll see a low of 28 again, with Friday being similar to Thursday at a high of 51. Friday night, we'll get down to a low of around 27. We should start to see the spring flowers blooming with this warmer weather. As for your weekend forecast, there will be a mix of sun and cloud all weekend. Saturday, we'll get up to 42 with a low of 20. And for Sunday, we'll see a high near 38 and a low of 23. And that's your Coyote weather.
Thanks, Carter. Hundreds of people chanting "Enough is enough" filled downtown Vermilion on Saturday to make a statement in South Dakota that was also being spread around the globe. Vermilion residents, K-12 students, USD students, and USD educators marched down Main Street, Vermilion on Saturday to demand an end to gun violence and mass shootings in schools. March organizer Ellie Piles said she wanted to have a march here to make a statement in hopes to prevent gun violence from coming to South Dakota. One thing Piles wants people to understand is that they are not anti-gun.
It is possible to both respect folks' Second Amendment rights and have common sense regulations that can save lives.
The march in Vermilion was one of over 800 sister marches happening across the globe in support of the original one in Washington, D.C. The marches are in support of the victims of the Marjorie Douglas High School shooting as well as the Great Mills High School shooting. USD junior Katie Myros said she wants people to know their voices can be heard by going out to vote.
Register to vote, contact your lawmakers and congressmen, let them know that you care. Don't be afraid to take a stance and to have a voice in the world.
Piles said now that the march is over, the plan is to develop educational forums for people to learn about how universal background checks work. After that, the hope is to develop a ballot initiative to put the issue of gun violence to a vote in 2020. No matter what your perspective is, you can make your voices heard by voting in the South Dakota primary election on June 5th and the general election November 6th.
Although spring has officially started, South Dakota has yet to see the warm weather. The university's grounds crew is preparing for the transition and working to give campus that spring glow.
We start thinking about the flowers and such that we'll plant in the spring as soon as January, so we've already started working with local vendors here around Vermilion to start buying new annual flowers, petunias, begonias, and the like. We start thinking about fertilizer. We hire summer staff which we do have openings right now for summer staff. So that's kind of where we start game planning, is it takes a lot of labor to transition from winter to summer and to keep the campus looking beautiful.
Steele says the busiest time for the grounds crew is right before the fall semester begins, making the campus look as pristine as possible. Coming up, we'll tell you about the new technology the Vermilion Fire Department is using.
This is Coyote News.
Students from across the state came to USD Saturday for the 34th annual South Dakota Science Olympiad. State Director Clark Bennett wants the competitions to foster enthusiasm for the discipline.
Well, I hope it helps deepen an appreciation and interest in science, and so they can go into many different fields. At least that's my hope. They're going, well, what am I ever going to do with this? Well, here's an idea.
Participants discovered USD's science-based departments to explore future careers. Dakota Valley's Helena Lozano enjoyed learning more about USD.
It was really fun because we got to walk all over campus, and it's really good if you want to go to school here when you're older.
Both Yankton High School and Middle School were champions in their divisions and will be moving forward to the national tournament in May.
Culture and diversity is annually celebrated at the International Club's Festival of Nations. More than 300 tickets were sold for this year's celebration. Students from 30 different countries prepared traditional dishes for people in attendance to sample. Festival goers were then treated to a variety of poems, songs, and dances performed by the international students. President of the International Club, Brandy German, says it was exciting to see the event come together after months of planning. The Festival of Nations was the final event of the year for the club. There are new safety features on stoplights in Vermilion. The Yote Report's Nick Nelson spoke with the fire chief about the new technology.
The Opticom is a new traffic changing system in the stoplights on Cherry Street. This technology is set up for first responders to arrive at the lights in case of accidents. Vermilion Fire Chief Matt Callahan says while this technology has been there for quite some time, only now is it connected to emergency vehicles.
Last year when we started speccing our fire truck, in the planning phase, we decided that this was a beneficial item to place on the truck. And we did that again with the ambulance that we spec'd later on last year. And so they were put on there for safety purposes.
Fire Chief Callahan says the new technology and the lights will provide safety for Vermilion residents.
It helps, I think, to decrease the accident risk. I mean, there's always potential for accidents at intersections, but a lot of emergency vehicle accidents occur at intersections, because people don't see us coming, they don't yield the right of way, and we end up in a T-bone type of accidents at the intersection. So this technology does help reduce that.
According to Callahan, the new system is only starting to take off in South Dakota. For the Yote Report, I'm Nick Nelson.
The system is programmed into every stoplight on Cherry Street.
After the break, we'll tell you how the university is dealing with the limited pool hours.
This is Coyote News.
The USD Wellness Center offers a variety of options to work out, including a rock wall, weight equipment, aerobics classes, and an indoor track. But USD students and faculty craving a different workout option can use the Dakota Dome swimming pool free of charge. Getting many complaints that the pool hours are not very convenient, USD Wellness Center Director Steve Meyer explains why there are a limited number of hours the pool is open.
We do share the pool with athletics, so our first concern is we have to share the pool, and so we need to work together with athletics to figure out what do they need from a Division I swimming and diving standpoint for both their men and their women's team.
In addition to the swim and diving teams, the pool is also used for aerobics classes and swim lessons, which limits the hours even more. Meyer says that the hours wouldn't be increased even if more were available due to the already low community usage rate. For more information about the pool and its hours, visit the USD Wellness Center website.
A new student organization is working to promote campus diversity in media and entertainment. The organization is called DIME and was founded this semester by senior sport marketing and media major Mickey Abbott.
Everyone deserves to see themselves reflected back at them in the content they consume. It builds self-esteem. Diversity brings more perspectives and more different points of view to the content that you're creating.
Nick Zyma is a junior media and journalism major and DIME member who's working to recruit more members for the group.
Diversity in media is important because it's so often you only see the majority, and when you only see the majority, you begin to feel left out. And in order to feel positively about yourself, you need to see yourself reflected in media.
Abbott says anyone is welcome to join DIME.
We would be severely lacking if we didn't appreciate and encourage everyone to come and bring their perspective into the conversation. And that's why diversity is so important.
DIME meets in the Center for Diversity and Community on Tuesday nights at 8.
With Easter break quickly approaching, Coyote News' Allie Boysen is joining us live from the Muck with the pastor of the Newman Center, Jeffrey Norfolk, to talk about some options for celebrating the holiday. Allie?
Thanks, Lauren. As students prepare to leave for the holiday weekend, the St. Thomas Newman Center is preparing to welcome people. I'm here with Father Jeff to discuss the details. Father Jeff, what activities is the Newman Center putting on this weekend for students?
So the primary activity is Sunday at 11 o'clock. We have our normal Mass times. The unique thing about this Sunday is that one of our students is being baptized. So grew up in a Christian environment, but never in the Catholic faith. And so he'll be baptized, receive the sacrament of confirmation, have a little reception after Mass as well. Many of the students are gone for this weekend, so we know that there's not a lot that will be around campus, but at 11 o'clock will be the primary celebration and the reception after Mass.
Do you work with other religious organizations on campus during weekends that have multiple holidays like Easter and Passover this weekend?
We don't work necessarily with Jews when you mention Passover. We know that they have a group on campus. It's my understanding they'll have a Seder meal at some point, but we don't have any particular interaction with them. Other Christian organizations, yes. We'll do, at times we've done a praise and worship where we've invited other Christians to come and gather. Nothing this weekend in particular.
So what is available for students that aren't necessarily Christian, or what might interest them?
Sure. They can always come to the building. The Newman Center is located across the street from the Muck and the Law School, and they can study there. They're welcome to come to the meal on Sunday after our Mass time. And we have non-religious events in the sense of dodgeball, a dance, activities where they're welcome to come in that sense. We have a lower lounge that has a TV, a ping pong table.
All right, thank you, Father Jeff.
You're welcome.
For more information, you can check out the USD St. Thomas More Center for more information on what's going on this weekend. Reporting live from the Muck for Coyote News, I'm Allie Boysen.
Thanks, Allie. So, Lexi, I hear football has begun their spring practices.
Yes, they sure have. We've got a preview of their spring season next in sports.
Because it's challenging, both mentally and physically.
You gotta love climbing because even when you're not climbing, you get a great view.
Climbing's great because I feel like Spider-Man.
Climbing is great, because even my nerd friends can do it.
Climbing's awesome because there's always someone who has your back.
Come to the rock wall and figure out why climbing's awesome for you.
This is Coyote News.
Hello, I'm Carter Hofer. Tonight on Coyote Sports, the softball team opens up Summit League play with a sweep.
And I'm Lexi Peterson. The women's basketball team comes to an end, but first...
Track and field coach and Coyote alumnus Derek Miles and former USD coach Dave Gottsleben will be inducted to the Drake Relays Hall of Fame on April 26th. Miles joins the Drake Relays Athletes Hall of Fame, while Gottsleben will be inducted to the Drake Relays Coaches Hall of Fame. They will both be inducted and honored during the 109th Drake Relays, April 25th through the 28th. Men's basketball coach Craig Smith accepted the head coaching job at Utah State. Smith led the Coyotes to a 79-55 record during his 4-year tenure at USD and was named Summit League Coach of the Year last season. A national search for the next head coach is already underway. The autopsy of G League basketball player Zeke Upshaw showed signs of sudden cardiac death after collapsing during a game on Saturday. The 26-year-old died Monday after spending 2 days in a hospital. A medical investigation is continuing to find the exact type of heart disease he suffered from.
The athletic department added a new resource for athletes this year. Coyote News' Caitlin Ryan explains how food plays an important role in athlete success.
Maintaining proper nutrition is a necessity for any athlete. Understanding how to correctly fuel their bodies can be difficult. That's why USD sports dietitian Lizzie Kasparic helps out those athletes who might have questions about their eating habits.
I do work with mostly athletes, so everybody from middle school to high school athletes, and there was a need here. So especially with the new refueling station in the weight room, there's a need for education, a need for athletes to kind of be able to learn more about fueling before, during, and after, how to optimize nutrition for training and performance. And so I'm here to help fill that gap.
Kasparic starts with getting to know the athletes' eating habits by giving them a food log that will include the times that they eat, how often they work out, and the types of food that they consume before and after practice.
Working with college athletes is really unique because they have really busy schedules, and then they're expected to practice for hours on end and then also do strength and conditioning on top of that. So it's really fun working with athletes, student athletes here, because it's almost like working with a puzzle. Like you get to kind of determine and help them problem solve.
Sometimes it's not just cutting down on sugar, but rather than portion control or adding a side salad to every single meal.
They're doing it for the long term, not just until we meet that weight goal or until the season starts or until the season ends, those kinds of short-term goals.
Nutrition is a lifetime necessity, and Kasparic is here for those athletes. For the Sports Report, I'm Caitlin Ryan.
Kasparic is on campus every Wednesday to help athletes and coaches. The women's basketball team season came to an end on Sunday after falling to TCU 79-71. The loss came in the Elite Eight round of the Women's National Invitational Tournament in front of nearly 4,000 fans. The Coyotes kept up with their Big 12 opponent, but couldn't hold off. TCU's Jordan Moore had 26 points for the Horned Frogs. Junior guard J.C. Bradley led the Coyotes' scoring effort with 21 points, while grabbing 6 rebounds and adding 5 assists. Bradley credits the USD fans as they were the reason they were able to help play so well in the tournament.
Our support from our crowd is just incredible, and we like to thank them from the bottom of our hearts. I mean, having games at home, it's a really good feeling to walk out onto the court and see that kind of crowd.
The team graduates 3 seniors, Kate Liveringhouse, Caitlin Duffley, and Jasmine Trimboli.
This week, 2 Coyotes earned Summit League Player of the Week honors. In tennis, Barbara Kolarova earned her first Player of the Week award of the season after claiming a victory over Creighton and moving to 13-4 in singles matches. Kolarova competed in the number 2 spot for the Coyotes over the weekend. In softball, Jessica Rogers claimed her second straight Player of the Week award after her performance in the Coyote sweep of Omaha. Rogers had 3 home runs and drove in 11 runs during the 3-game series to kick off Summit League play. She has taken the honor for the 3rd time in the last 4 weeks.
The softball team opened semi-league play with a sweep over Omaha last week. In Game 1, the Coyotes took the win 11-6, while the Mavericks put up 10 hits. Dusty Durham heavily contributed to the win both offensively and defensively. Jessica Rogers broke the tie with a grand slam in the 5th inning to steal the game. In Game 2, Rogers kept the hot bat going with a 2-run double in the 1st inning, keeping the Coyotes to an 11-2 win. In Game 3, the Yotes played from behind for most of the game, falling back early. However, they came back to take the game 11-8. Following the loss at Tuesday at Nebraska, the Coyotes return home for more Summit League action as they take on Western Illinois this weekend.
The women's golf team was back in action Saturday as they traveled to Sedona, Arizona to compete in the Red Rocks Invitational. Katie Bartlett led the Coyotes to a 14th place finish as a team on the weekend, while Bartlett finished 38th overall with 244 strokes. Our own Lexi Peterson and Julia Hall followed just 4 strokes behind, tying for 52nd place. The Coyotes will be back in action at the Kansas City Intercollegiate April 9th and 10th. The tournament will be the team's final action before the Summit League Championships beginning April 22nd.
USD's already begun a nationwide search for the next men's basketball coach following the departure of Craig Smith. Coyote News' Whitney Fowkes is live from the muck with Athletic Director David Herbster about what comes next. Whitney?
Thanks, Lexi. I'm here with David Herbster to discuss the ongoing search for their new coach. Thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
So, losing a coach like Craig Smith, how does that affect USD and the athletic program in general, considering he connected with the fans and the athletes so well?
He certainly set the stage for what this program and what our expectations should be. I think the program is now in a better position than when he took it over. There's already been a great deal of interest in the position and in the job here, which to me is positive because it really gives us an opportunity to find someone that fits our culture and fits who we are. Part of it is finding the best coach, but part of it is finding the right fit for USD.
And what is the process of finding a new coach?
This process is pretty unique. It's not necessarily a broad search committee that's going to take 3 or 4 months to do it. Really, our timeline is 2 to 3 weeks to find a coach. And it is pretty much all we do during that time frame as far as being on the phone, getting the interest and the feedback from others, and at the same time reaching out and finding connections and contacts and references, and really trying to get our list big, and then it gets small, and then it gets big again, and then it's going to get really small until we get to the point where we can bring and have dedicated conversations with just a few people.
So you do already have potential prospects for the position?
Well, I don't know if they're prospects yet. We still need to have face-to-face conversations with them. We go down to the Final Four this weekend, and that's where we can have a lot of individual conversations and start to get to know who these people are, what are they like. I think from an X's and O's standpoint, the ones that we've targeted already, I think, have that knowledge. Now we really need to find someone that's got the type of character for USD.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
USD hopes to find a replacement for Craig Smith by April 13th. Live from the muck for Coyote News, I'm Whitney Fowkes.
Thanks, Whitney. Coming up, we asked students their opinions on liking their own photo on social media. Their answers next.
This is Coyote News.
According to the website socialpilot.com, around 95 million photos get uploaded to Instagram every day.
We asked students if they take the time to like their own photo on social media and why.
I feel like it's other people's job to like you.
I think it's kind of weird.
That's embarrassing.
I wouldn't do that.
I never do it. I think if you like your pictures, that it's okay. I mean, obviously I like it if I put it up. Like, you wouldn't post them if you didn't like them.
Oh, I always do it. I'm very narcissistic.
I don't do that.
I think that it is something that is not exactly necessary.
I feel like it's a little excessive.
I always like my own social media posts and comment on them as well.
I don't do it.
I think it's stupid.
Tells people a lot about who you are as a person, that you like your own thoughts and ideas.
I don't know why. Like, it's like laughing at your own joke.
It's a different low, you know. It's a tough time when it resorts to that, definitely.
Well, I feel like it's something you do if you're not going to get any other likes on the post.
If it's what you need to do, it's what you need to do.
I used to do it when I was like 13, but here in college, it's a different ballgame.
I mean, I used to do it, but I don't anymore. I don't think it's wrong, though. I mean, why not?
I personally don't like my own posts, but how about you two?
I always do. I'm excessive as well, so I do it all the time.
I've done it once or twice. Hey, be sure to pick up a new issue of The Volant, out today, featuring a story about Charlie Coyote.
That's all for Coyote News. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
And be sure to watch and listen for Coyote News daily updates throughout the week on KAOR and on the Coyote News social media pages.
Thank you, and have a great night.